Do you want to play zombies?
Jugar qué?
You lay down and I eat you.
Happy Halloween.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish. I swear to God, I'm going to choke on my own spit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We are streaming live on Digital Stream Radio, where you can access that live stream every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can do so by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. I'm fair warning you right now, or I'm just warning you right now, this is going to be a hot mess. So my name is Tom, and I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing bitches, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all. Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear.
And welcome you all to the dish. It's been crazy. So interestingly enough, last week we took the week off and didn't even say anything about it. Like, we just didn't record. And so we want to apologize in advance for that, because normally we would send out a message on Facebook or on Twitter, or we would post something on Patreon, and we did none of that. And I am not It was needed. We needed it. We needed it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. She was dying.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and then he was just, where were you? Home?
I was around, yeah.
Yeah, no. He was dying.
I was ready to go, but Trish wasn't feeling well, so.
Right, no.
In solidarity.
She had a respy, and she was going through it, and it wasn't COVID. But she had a respy.
Yeah, it wasn't COVID, thank God.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm still like a little you can hear it.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, I'm fine. I mean, I went through the antibiotics and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sound as butch today.
I know. Dude, I sounded like a dying horse, like straight up a dying mare. It was not pretty.
The mayor of East Haven or something.
It was bad. My dad was like, ooh. I called my boss at one point. He's like, no, you're not coming into the office.
Stay away.
Mm-hmm. And it was just a sinus infection. I mean, I did have to get a COVID test because I was getting antibiotics and they wanted to make sure it wasn't COVID.
Right.
Right. And then when it wasn't, they were like, yeah, it's a sinus infection. So we're going to.
Yeah, it's going around, believe it or not. It's. I spent about 3 weeks ago, my daughter calls me. She was on her way to the ER with my grandson. He just turned 1. Right. Same thing. It's going around. And actually, the kids in the daycare are spreading that shit like wildfire.
And that's the fear behind the whole going back to school. Kids are in school full time, and them not being able to be vaccinated against COVID.
Yep.
And so,
well, I think now aren't they doing 5 and up?
I don't know if that I know that they approved the booster shots, and now you can mix and match. I don't know for sure if they've approved the children yet. 100%.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Did I get the opener right?
You did. You were like, "Hey, wahoo, what?"
That was good.
It was great. It was fabulous.
All right.
I would have gone with Swalloween, but
Yeah. I was too focused on getting the words right.
From experience.
Some days.
Well, you never know. See?
Hey.
Oh, she's going to tease me to death tonight. She's going to get it.
She's gonna get it.
Yeah. I should probably warn everybody that Tom is on a level above everyone else right now.
Yes. Yes. So, why don't we turn to you? Focus on Jay.
Yes.
How are you, Jay?
Fantasticals.
Mm-hmm.
Testicles or testicles?
Testicles?
Fantasticals.
Bat.
Is this the first time you're catching it? I always say that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, no, it's the first time.
Yeah, it's the first time you've caught on to it?
Yeah.
So how are you?
I mean, are you surprised?
Fantastic. No. Some days, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Fantasticals.
Yeah. So are you enjoying yourself today?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, she's nasty. I'm just going to shut up. Just to let you know, just in case you are watching the live stream and you see legs dangling in the corner over here, we do have a mystery guest, which will remain a mystery guest in the studio, so you won't know who that person is. But nonetheless, legs are squibbly over here in the corner.
And to be clear, it's not a Steve, so.
It's not a Steve, and it's not our other mystery guest, Edwin, who would at times join us in studio. It's someone else. So, yeah, it's weird having people in the studio watching us record the show. So, but
it's been a while.
Nonetheless, so Jay,
Yes.
How are you today?
Fantastic weekend.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. Like I always do, I spend time with mom.
Nice. And how is she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good, which is great. We actually Saturday we did some cooking at home.
Nice.
We made
you did some cooking.
Well, me and my daughter.
Okay, because you don't let her on the stove.
I don't let anybody cook when I'm at home. But Roxanne helped. She did like 50% of the cooking.
Hashtag facts.
Yeah.
He doesn't let anybody near her stove.
Just but we made some Mexican birria, which is basically.
It looks so good.
It was fucking.
I'm so mad at you that you didn't invite me, and this contagious bitch over here. He didn't invite us.
Yeah, no, it was.
You did not want me around.
It was food.
Also, I was working all weekend.
No. But it was a first time attempt at making it.
Can you explain a little bit of what that is? What does that consist of?
Yeah, so it's basically beef. So it's
where's the beef?
Yeah. You have like chuck beef, you have beef steaks, you have ribs, you have oxtail, the beef tails.
All my favorite meats except that. I don't know about that.
It's so fucking good.
It's like
basically you braise all the meats and you brown them in oil, and then you throw them in a pot.
So Puerto Rican oil.
In oil, you know us. And so basically you brown all the meat, you make the broth as beef broth, and then you add like tomatoes and onions, garlic, cinnamon, and your spices. It's a Mexican dish. They use a lot of cinnamon.
Yummy.
And you have your dried poblanos and your dried peppers, and you boil all of it in like 8 cups of broth. Then you take out all the peppers and onions and tomatoes, and you liquefy them in a blender, and you add it back in, and it turns into a thick roux. And then
you're lucky. I just ate a fucking cow at what's this restaurant here?
Dive Bar.
Otherwise, I would say I'm hungry. Yeah. It's delicious.
And then you throw all that into the meat, and then you slow cook it. And I put it in my Dutch oven for 3 hours, and basically the meat just falls off the bones.
Oh my god!
And
that then, sounds to die for.
And then you scoop out some oil as it's cooking. It creates its own oil fat. So you scoop it out, you save it on a side dish, and then when the meat's all ready to go, you dip your corn tortillas in that oil. And you brown them in a pan.
Yummy.
And you make them a little crunchy, and then you just...
Why don't you ever make this for us on a Monday?
Well, it was technically like a 6-hour process.
That's right. I
so
work from
take
home.
the day off.
I work from home. You can work from home too. You can come here, and then you can just start around 9 in the morning.
We'll plan it out.
I'll treat you right. I'll make sure you have plenty of coffee and all that good stuff.
It was delicious. We put our feet in it.
You put your foot in it?
Oh, for sure.
Did I ever tell you the story about when we were
the foot?
Yeah, about the foot. We were doing storm duty, and we were in the building for like 9 days. And at some point they gave us steak, and I'm like, oh my god, this is great. My coworker and I'm like, yo, let's go for seconds. And she was like, oh my god, yeah, right. That steak was so good. They put their foot in it. And we're sitting there afterwards, and we're, taking calls, la, 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 and all of a sudden it's like, and I'm like looking at myself, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to shit my pants. And then I see my coworker get up, and I get up, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and I'm like, it was the left foot. And we're running
left foot.
And so now anytime we're like, feeling a little wheezy or whatever, and we just look at each other and say, I gotta go, I got left foot. That's our thing now. So it's left foot syndrome.
Left foot syndrome.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
but it was good. It was a good time. So
good.
We had a great time, and Sundays, Sundays is mom day. So
right. Right.
We hung out at my sister's. I decided not to bring her to my house this weekend, and I made my sister cook for us. So she made us some homemade chicken linguine with homemade Alfredo sauce. So she makes everything from scratch, which is great. And I've never really had it like when she's made it fresh, and I destroyed like half a pound of pasta.
Of course he did. Hence why we're like this.
Yeah.
And you, my dear, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
How's the family? Everyone's good?
That's a That's a can of worms.
A loaded question.
In other words, let's not go there. Okay. Well, as far as I can tell you is, we took a break last week. The week before that, I literally spent the whole weekend destroying my kitchen and rebuilding a pipe that burst that was leaking water into my basement. And in other words, Handy Homo really just, came out and did his thing. And so that's all fixed. And I ended up installing a new dishwasher, which is already broken.
She went all out.
And so I had the service guy come in and they were like, oh, you need a new motherboard. And I'm like, what about a fatherboard? Like, why does it have to be a motherboard?
But also, like, why does every appliance now have a computer and a motherboard? And when it goes, it's like...
That's basically what goes on all of them.
Right. Yeah. That's how they track you. Well, anyway.
That's how they track you.
Yeah.
So the service guy came down and he took a look at it and he said, I was kind of hoping that he would be cute because, it's like I've been 2 years in my house locked up, no sex besides my little friend from the window. And I was like,
to my window.
Wait. Damn.
Come inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. Oh.
By the way, speaking of Melissa Etheridge, she just literally launched her tour dates on her social media. So if you're interested in seeing Melissa Etheridge live, which we totally suggest that you do. Go to her website, melissaetheridge.com, and take a look at some of the newly released dates that are out there for her tour. I think it's going to be amazing. And if she's in Connecticut, we're going. Yeah, just letting you know. Angie.
I'm going to tweet you.
I'm going to tweet you, girl.
I'm gonna tweet you.
And, but yeah. So aside from that, the dishwasher is in, waiting on the motherboard. They're going to come and replace it. Hopefully it'll work. And then I can just worry about just throwing my dishes in the dishwasher. But aside from that, this weekend was absolutely nothing. It was all about just me watching movies and watching shows and doing nothing, which I absolutely needed because it's been a while since I've done it.
She was washing all her dishes by hand and dildos.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because this weekend for me was actually a big weekend because we finally opened a show.
Right.
Oh,
We finally opened a show and the public came and it was like...
You saw people.
We saw people, and there was a Broadway show, and we got to watch it and be there and experience live theater. And God, it's been since the shutdown,
right? In
pretty much almost 2 years
March
at this point.
2020.
Yeah. The energy in that space was crazy. Like people were just so excited to have live theater and just be a part of something again.
I know that Delta infused energy is always awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then on Saturday, I had 2 shows. Did I miss something?
The
Delta variant
infused energy.
You're an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
But on Saturday, I had 2 shows, and I had to be there because we had donors coming in and whatnot. And
what kind of donors?
Oh, donors,
Oh,
not donuts.
Sorry. I was talking about
He just
sperm
got excited.
donors, but
no.
anyway.
So we had a break between shows, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run a couple errands, and I ended up in the Milford area, and I called and texted Tom because I hadn't seen him in a week and a half, 2 weeks.
She did,
and she ignored me.
I did not ignore you. I was sleeping.
She left you on red.
Oh. and so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go home and
she had something to take care of at her window.
Yeah. That's probably what was going on. And so he texted me. He's like, I'm so sorry. I was taking a nap. You should have just stopped by and woke me up. I haven't seen you in forever. I'm like, I'm not that guy. Plus, I can't just stop by because,
you never know.
He's at the window.
Had somebody been at my window, I wouldn't have told you to just stop by.
But I have a key. If I just stop by.
So this bitch has an electronic key in my house.
If you see him doing his shit, well, hey.
I'm going to be scarred for life.
Be like,
it is not that bad,
see you
Trish.
later.
You're nasty.
No, it's not it would be bad. It's just it's not something that I think I want to see.
It's not an ambition of hers to catch one of her friends.
Because I feel like
fair warning: if we ever go away, you will see my balls at some point. Because
I've already seen your balls.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We did.
When I show you
were here
tattoo.
in the short shorts, and then your balls were hanging out the side.
No, they weren't that short.
But you have the wolf shorts like I do.
Yeah.
You had one of the balls was hanging.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. We didn't say anything because it was like for us, you're like a brother, so we don't look at you that way.
He's sitting there. He's like, "Do you guys feel a breeze?" We're like, "No,
no." Let me stop. You guys are
nasty.
horrible.
I know we are. All right. Well, listen. Wonderful catching up. It's been wonderful, but we do have stories that we need to cover and we need to talk about, and of things that are happening in the community. So I will launch first. So I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Rachel Levine, who is now officially the first trans 4-star admiral in the U.S. in U.S. history. And what that means is that if you're not aware of who she is one of the first transgender women to actually be appointed to a cabinet in the government or in the presidential cabinet. And she was, or she still is actually, the Health and Human Services
Assistant Secretary for Health.
Thank you. And it's amazing. One, for the visibility that offers the community. And two, because fuck you, Donald Trump, because he spent 4 years targeting transgender men and women who were serving in our military. And we now have an HSS secretary who's actually a 4-star general.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is huge. It's huge in the sense that,
yes,
again,
queen.
Thank you. Thank you. It's huge in the sense that from a visibility standpoint, it just goes to show you that perseverance, hard work, sticking to your guns, being who you are, not caring what other people think about you goes a long way. And it just shows the next person who's coming up the pike that it is possible to achieve what once was thought impossible. Yes. And I just want to say congratulations to Rachel Levine. It's amazing. Yes. Thank you. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's really... So when you brought the story up, the first thing that I thought of was the day after Trump was elected and how the LGBTQ plus resource page from the White House was taken down.
It's taken down. Yeah.
Con.
Yeah. And then we spent 4 years of that administration attacking the trans community. Mm-hmm. And now having somebody being put in this position at that level, not only it speaks volumes to the fact that, like, this administration and the American people are dedicated to the trans community and to the LGBTQ plus community, but it also shows people that, like, that's not normal. Like, what happened 4 years prior, that's not okay. It's not normal. And we need to be committed to human rights. And the fact that somebody like this, who has all of the qualifications, probably more qualifications than anybody in the previous cabinet does, can do this. That means anybody can do this. That means any trans kid out there that may want to be president or may want to be the Secretary of Health or the Secretary of Transportation, hi, Pete Buttigieg.
Hi, Petey.
Can do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's visibility and it's strength. It's beautiful.
Right. One thing that was noted, and so here's something that was noted in this story. And by the way, if you want to read the story, you can go to theadvocate.com. It was published on October 19th, which of course was like last week, but we were off last week, so we're talking about it today. It says here that Admiral Levine now serves as the highest ranking official in the USPHS Commission Corps and is the first ever female 4-star admiral. So not only is she the first trans female, she is the first female, period, to serve in that capacity. Admiral Levine will lead 6,000 public health service officers who are dedicated to serving our nation's most underserved and vulnerable population. That was a lot of words. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get claps, please?
You made
Thank you. I've been drinking. I've been drinking. I sound like Beyonce. I've been drinking.
You do not sound like Beyonce.
You're right.
No, but one more thing I want to say is, like, recently, the Texas governor's website, they took the information about LGBTQ suicide awareness and information down from their website because of somebody who was running for re-election, I believe.
Right.
And some minister, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
It was a minister. I saw something about that.
Yeah, I don't have the article up, so I don't want to misquote myself. But the fact that she is a highly accomplished pediatrician that is that drives an agenda that boosts health and access and equality and is really dedicated to behavioral health is really important, because if we can at the national level have somebody speaking and promoting the fact that we need to, take care of the LGBTQ community, because we have the highest suicide rate. If you look at percentage, we do have the highest suicide rate. And if you take those resources away, at least now at the national level, we have somebody that can provide resources. So if you can't get them locally or at the state level, go higher, because now you can.
Right. And in a statement on Twitter, she actually said, I am deeply honored and grateful to join the ranks of men and women across this great nation who have committed to defend the United States against small and large threats, known and unknown. I promise to uphold the trust to the fullest extent of my abilities. Furthermore, she went on to say that may this appointment be the first of many, as we create a more inclusive future. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm sorry. I twisted my words. Like I said, I've been drinking. And I warned you all this was going to be a hot mess. Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, if we go to dive bar before 3, it's not.
Yeah. Not cute. No. We thought it was summer. Not happening. It's still fall.
Who had that bright idea?
And we fell. Yeah. Who had that bright idea?
Who knows? Mm-hmm. You guys got to stop doing stuff like that all the time.
Nasty.
Oh, she is coming for us.
Anyway, and because she knows that we can't come for him. She knows.
I mean,
and you know how hard right now, like I'm biting my tongue so hard right now that I'm about to split that bitch in half. Like I'm gonna be like Lord Voldemort. Does he have like a split tongue type of thing in the middle or something?
No,
I don't know, but that would be interesting if he went down on you.
Right? 2 tongues going like this. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Oh my.
OMG. Okay, next.
Focus, ladies, focus. Trish, no, Jay, this is your story. So we're gonna throw it over to you. You have a story from a duchy from the Dutch something.
So apparently, so it is said that Princess Amalia, the Dutch heir to the throne, will still be eligible to take the throne if she were to marry another woman.
Has she declared that she was a lesbian or something?
It hasn't been confirmed. The decision announced by the Netherlands Prime Minister came after a formal inquiry from Parliament.
Why? I'm like, are they wondering if she's a lesbian or something?
Yeah, that's kind of what's up.
They're so nosy.
I think she. Let me see if I can find it here. The princess is very private about her details of her personal life. And she states there are scars. Scars. Her sexual orientation isn't publicly known. The government believes that the heir can also marry a person of the same sex, which was written in a letter to Parliament.
Well, I mean, this is good news, right? I mean, when you think about some of the royal families around the world, could you imagine the scandal if Prince William would have came out and said, I'm a homosexual?
I would have been first in line.
Of course you would have. Kate would have never had a chance.
I've always wanted to be a princess. You know that.
I know. P to the R to the I to the N to the S. Princess. Yeah, we know that, but I mean, like, then future King Louis wouldn't have been there, and Charlotte, and what's the new baby's name?
You can always adopt.
They have like 3 now.
I don't know. You should know this. That's like your thing.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Charlotte and Louis, there's 3?
Yeah, there's 3 kids now.
Shit, I've lost
There's 3 babies.
I mean, I don't think it's far down the line. I mean, honestly,
George? Is it George? No.
I think focusing on the fact that...
Right, let's focus on the story.
Yeah, I think focusing on the fact that it's the princess is basically they're saying that she can if the circumstances were... There may be rumors there that she is or whatnot. We don't know that. But I think the point of the story is that if that was the case, she can do it now.
Yes, I think part of the... question or the subject at hand is because they do state, because according to the law it requires a king or a queen to be succeeded by a lawful descendant,
right?
So I think that's what comes into play.
Clearly, because so she's the daughter.
She is so if the king was to pass, the current king, and
she immediately
she would have success into the throne. But if she's I guess, of the LGBT community, and she decides to marry another woman, she can still keep her reign, but then there's no
continuity for
because it's not a descendant, it's not a blood descendant.
Right.
I don't know how adoption would play into that,
but I mean, then again, a female could still have a blood descendant.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Well,
I mean, she could still, go through in vitro for fertilization, or she can go through some sort of like artificial means to become pregnant and have an heir of her own,
throne, yes.
right? It's interesting because the story in here, it says that the government did not weigh in on the subject of any children in the succession, saying it's frightfully complicated because the laws require that kings or queens be succeeded by a lawful descendant, as you noted. But they also said, let's cross that bridge when it comes to it. We don't even know. I mean, they don't even know if this
how to address it.
Duchess is indeed a lesbian or not, right? She may not be. Maybe she's bisexual. Maybe she's someone who is gender non-binary.
Exactly.
Maybe she's straight. We don't know.
Right.
Well, and you also have to keep in mind that when it comes down to ruling, that whole, having a blood descendant to follow in the throne, that's a Eastern European thing. It wasn't something that was recognized in Hawaii or in any of the other islands, and even in Latino culture or their ancestors. It was based on rulers. And if you were fit to rule, you can rule. You didn't have to be a direct descendant from a king or queen.
Right.
So
well, you can also rule by conquest. And that was the case in a lot of places, even in England. I mean, when you think about all of the fractured smaller kingdoms that existed before the UK was a thing, it was a rule by conquest. If you weren't fit to rule, maybe your cousin came down and freaking knocked you off the pedestal and said, I'm the king now, yes. Or I'm queen.
But I'm also starting to think, like, we are at a place, like, say a prince in England was like, I'm gay.
Right.
And I am going to abstain, or I'm going to be with this person and the family has to accept it.
Harry, I had hopes. Married her. I'm still here, though, baby.
But, like, let's be honest. If they had, if they had a public eye on them and they literally said, no, we're not going to accept this, in this day and age,
right, there would be a lot of backlash.
It would be terrible.
Right, it would be bad press for any royal family at that, let alone the English monarchy. But it's something that it's still, we have still yet to see that play out in public, in a public forum. Right, like we have not seen any of the royal family members at this point, or at least those that could have some sort of path to the throne, to be put in that predicament. Right? It's always a cousin.
I don't think they ever would, because of the way.
How many gay kings do we all know about?
Oh, girl.
And gay presidents. Hello.
Exactly. Well, remember, in the Netherlands,
that rug in the White House,
it's had its share of stains. But remember, in the Netherlands,
thank you.
It is the first country to have legalized same-sex marriage. And last year they wrote the LGBTQ rights into their constitution. So they're very progressive. Yeah. So you have to at least give them that. How they're going to address if and when anything is said about the upcoming princess becoming queen, I think that's something that's definitely worth keeping an eye out for.
And it's also worth noting, too, that, as a royal, she's actually entitled to $1.8 million US dollars as an allowance, which she has turned down, which has made her very popular with the people in the Dutch country, in the Netherlands. Yes. And that's, interestingly enough, as a royal, who the fuck gives away $1.8 million? I'm like, hello?
She doesn't need
if she can afford to turn away 1.8 million,
she don't need it.
Nah, that 1.8 is probably a pair of shoes for her.
Yeah, girl.
Fuck
she's
that.
a trust fund baby.
Yeah,
she's fine.
She's good.
Pay my you can pay my house off.
Did I tell you? So this is random and side note, but one of my closest friends, who I never knew this, but I've been friends with her for years. She called me the other day. She was like, I'm looking at houses. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm thinking of like looking, in the next year or so. And she's like, yeah, I just need something for myself. I'm thinking, maybe a $500,000 house. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. And I was like, that is a lot of money for a single woman. And she was like,
yes, queen, it is.
She was like, Nick, I'm a trust fund baby. You didn't know that? And I was like, you fucking bitch.
All these years,
all those dinners we went to, and we split the bill.
Like, when you could have covered,
you could have paid for all of it. Oh, she's got some nerve.
No, I still love her, but I was just like, what?
No, that's crazy.
That's what
happens. Crazy. All right, well, listen, we are 30 minutes into our broadcast. I want to thank you for
dealing with us,
dealing with the fact that you just spent 30 minutes through that craziness. But we do need to take a break. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave you with some music. And when we come back, we do have more dish. So here's some music, and we will be right back.
She was waiting by the back door, said, babe, we gotta leave town. Get your shit, get your suitcase, your dog, your guitar, cause we gotta go now, cause they're coming. Well, they know our fucking names, yes, they're coming, just the same. Well, I know you don't want to leave your life. You've had some blood and tears, little joy, little strife. But they're coming, well, they're coming down the road, yes, they're coming, truth be told. And don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land in the first place, but they're coming just the same. Got a knapsack full of judgment, hypocrisy, and lies. And they're talking so much hateful bullshit, they've begun to gather flies. But they're coming, well, don't look them in the eyes. Yes, they're coming, no surprise. And with so much terror in our past, how are you so surprised it's come to bite you in the ass? Yes, it's coming. Well, it's nipping at your heels. Yes, it's coming for the kill. And don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land to sell or trade. No, don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land in the first place, but they're coming just the same. So I'll meet you at the station where we can get on that train, head out to the wastelands where we can change our names, cause they're coming. Well, they know our fucking names. Yes, they're coming just the same, just the same, just the same, just the same.
Oh, shit. Did I fuck it up? I sure did. All right, welcome back, ladies and gents, from the break. That, of course, was the amazing Amanda Barrack with Wastelands, which happens to be the name of the album and also the title track to that album. That album is available on all the major music streaming services, and we implore you that you go out and support your LGBTQ plus artiste, because that is important, and that's what we're all about. So welcome back. How was the break, boys?
Not long enough.
She's nasty.
She had to cut it short.
All right. All right. So, but we're back. We're back. We refreshed on I don't even know where my refreshments is. Hold on.
By the way, Mama Kim sent us a message. Did you see it?
No.
Oh, God, I gotta read it. It's hilarious.
Okay. I love her. I just she sent you a message. Oh.
Loving this crazy episode. Just what I needed after my weekend.
We love you too.
I adore you guys.
Oh, I love her.
Love you, Mama.
Her. Yeah, we came on the air with a very, very sense of fun and giddiness, and we were feeling it today, right? We missed not doing a show last week, and obviously she was ill, so she's been waiting to get out of her house and do something, and here she is. So, but we love you too, baby girl. We love you. We do. Your haircut looks amazing, by the way. Yes, we love you. So, all right. We're back. We're here. We're queer. Well, at least two of us are. I don't know about this. Hot mess right here.
I'm semi.
He's got a semi heart.
I'm
right
bilingual.
He's in the letters, you know.
Yeah, he's somewhere in there. He's part of the acronym. Let's just say that. So around. All right. Anyway, we are back. So back to stories. I want to talk a little bit about Barack Obama. So as you know, Barack Obama during his presidency.
Can we talk about my story first, because I want to end on a good note? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I think that might be a good.
So we're going to toss it over to Trish, and we're going to talk about her story then.
All right. So we had a local LGBTQ plus and HIV activist die recently. Her name was Shawn Lang, and she has been an activist in our community for years.
Over like 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm. So she was fiercely devoted to being an activist for the LGBTQ plus community and those living with HIV. And she died suddenly at the age of 65. And we are unaware as to what she passed away from. But I wanted to bring light and shed light on somebody who in our state of Connecticut is making national news because of all of the amazing work. And what's great is Jay knows her personally and can speak more to the story than I can. So
I just wanted to point out really quick that she was the deputy director of the AIDS Connecticut from 1991 until actually this year, when the organization was restructured and the position was eliminated, in which capacity that she was playing in. She was the organization's point person, which Connecticut lawmakers on matters of policy, public policy, usually went to talk to. That's how important this individual was, not only for Connecticut, but for the community as a whole, nationwide.
Yes, and I mean, she was a pioneer. She was a pioneer. She was a fighter. Met her a couple of times while I did work within the HIV realm for about 6-7 years. Always lively. She would run circles around people. Yes. Regardless of what was going on. Very lively, very, to the point, got things done. When there was an issue and people were being roadblocked and people were, given the runaround, reach out to Shawn.
Yeah.
And she would come in and do her thing.
She would come in and she was a fighter. Yeah, she fought tooth and nail. She was amazing. I know a lot of also close friends of mine that were really, really close to her, a lot closer than I was, obviously, that are definitely feeling her loss, all within the HIV realm and industry, and she was definitely a force to be reckoned with.
I wonder, because like in the story, it talks about her being a nurse's aide. She was a Massachusetts native, and she was a nurse's aide. And we know, and we've explored and talked about on the show that, during the AIDS pandemic and the AIDS crisis, really the lesbian community that were nurses really were the only ones that were there and taking care of the, gay men who were passing away in droves. And I wonder
who were in hospitals where parents and even family members refused to go see them or even acknowledge the fact that, even in death, they would not claim their bodies.
Yes.
Right. Which led to the whole, shitload of unmarked, caskets that ended up in Hart Island right off of Manhattan in New York. It was the lesbian community that really stepped up, nurses in the LGBTQ plus community that stepped up and took care of our brothers that were dying that nobody wanted to touch or be in the same room with.
Yeah. And so I kind of wonder if that is what sparked her advocacy work. It doesn't really talk about it in the article, but I don't know if you know anything about that.
Not 100%, honestly. I wasn't very close to her. I mean, definitely worked with her. I did participate in annual AIDS walks in the area, which she was part of putting together. And that was the thing, she was in Hartford, but she would be in New Haven or be in Bridgeport. She'd show up in New York, wherever she felt she needed to be. And in order to provide that advocacy for the HIV community, especially when it came to treatments and housing and, just all around. It wasn't just, I'm here for the walk and to show my face.
Yeah, no, I mean, she served on boards. She served with the National AIDS Housing Coalition, the Center for Interdisciplinary Research on AIDS, and which was at Yale University. She was an activist with the Coalition for Lesbian and Gay Civil Rights. I mean, she is a accomplished.
She was a powerhouse.
Yeah,
she was a powerhouse. And she took no for an answer. She wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, list of places she was associated with or would just show up to show support. It's a long list. I mean, this article is short in comparison.
Right. Yeah. If you needed someone that, again, as Jay said, would run circles around people when it came to advocacy, especially around AIDS and HIV, she was the person. She was known to be forceful and opinionated when it came to talking about and dealing with the things that she was passionate about. AIDS, HIV being one of them. I had the opportunity to actually see her interact with crowds. So once upon a time, a long time ago, we used to actually do a gay rally or gay festival on the Green in New Haven. And numerous times I watched this woman get on stage and be the amazing person that she is. And she was incredible. And, she was, again, a powerhouse in the state of Connecticut, but also nationally. She wasn't afraid to go and talk truths to people in power and let them know what the fuck they were lacking. And that was the amazing thing about her. But on the same side, on that side of that coin where she was very forceful and opinionated, she was also very soft, very amazingly friendly, and a very endearing and caring person. And so, but when you flipped her, watch yourself, because let me tell you,
Tom.
Pretty much, no, but she was passionate, and she wasn't a nasty person, but she was passionate about the work that she did, and that passion sometimes came across as abrasive to those who didn't want to hear those truths, but she didn't care, and she spoke truth to power, and that is the legacy that she leaves behind as an amazing advocate for those who suffered from HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, she definitely, and I like this this part in the article where it says that her I lost my place because I'm over here trying to read and talk at the same time. So they did state, today we do grieve the loss of a champion and remember with profound gratitude Shawn's many efforts to create a more just and equitable society. And it wasn't about we need extra. We just need to be treated as equals, period. Amazing person. I know, I believe she has a son. So she did have one child. Forget his name off the top. I remember reading it once in an article. So, again, our heartfelt condolences to her child and her family.
And her friends.
And her friends, community. A lot of people in the community. I'm not sure if she had a partner or if she was single. But it was definitely a big loss.
Right. And you did say community. That this was a story that has become national.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I read about her, because personally I had never met her. I've heard of her.
I wish you did, because she was great.
Yeah, but I've never met her. And the first story I read was in the Hartford Courant.
Right.
And then the Advocate, which is where this story is coming from, picked up that story and then expanded on it, and it's pretty amazing to see the amount of people, especially our governor and then higher above our governor, they all had something positive to say about the work that she did, and the work that she did has made so much change within the state of Connecticut and nationally. And just to follow up, her son's name was Corbett Lang. Yeah. So.
And there will be a celebration of her life that will be held this Sunday evening at the Pond House in West Hartford, or last Sunday actually it was. Sorry, I forget that we skipped a week and we're talking about stories, but they did have a celebration of her life. And then one of the other things that you were mentioning, when you think about our governor, our previous and current governor, really paying respects to someone who was truly a champion for our community. It also is worth noting that she was honored in the White House in 2017 as a champion for change for advancing prevention, treatment, and recovery, and has at the time was nominated for that by then Governor Ned Lamont, and now, with Daniel Malloy, and now Governor Ned Lamont has also come out publicly and stated, that she was a champion for our community, and to have that recognition for the hard work that you've been doing day in, day out, decade after decade, is just a testament to the type of person that she was.
And you know what? We talk a lot about, Harvey Milk, and we talk about, help me, the gentleman that did the rainbow flag, Gilbert Baker. We talk a lot about these names that we all know historically,
right?
But we don't really, spend enough time recognizing the people that right now are alive and fighting.
Right.
And, the fact that this woman, Shawn, she was here in our state continually fighting and supporting us. And we, on this show, have never said anything about it.
Right. Right. And, but just fair point that at some point in time in their lives, you think about Harvey Milk, you think about Gilbert Baker, they were also alive and fighting at some point in their lives.
But why does it take somebody's death for us to lift them up?
Because I think it really just puts in perspective the great work that someone does, right? Because we live life in a fast lane, right? And we have blinders, and we're constantly just focusing on what's in front of us, never what's beside us or who's running alongside us. And I think that someone's death makes you stop, right? It makes you stop, reflect, and look at what someone has done and say, oh my God, this needs to be celebrated. And that's when, and that's why I always say, it's like there are living legends. And then there are legends that become legends once they die, because then you can really fully understand when you stop and reflect what the world is feeling on a loss. You can really start to understand and get a bigger picture of what exactly was it that they did. Yeah. And I think that's why, people like Harvey Milk and people like Gilbert Baker and all of these other amazing, LGBTQ plus civil rights and activists really get their due once they die. Yeah. And it's sad that that's how we live, but we do. We live with blinders on every day.
It's the same thing as artists. Artists don't become famous until after they pass. It sucks, but it's
Pablo Picasso wasn't Pablo Picasso until he was croaked. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, and you made a great point, because I know that when I was in the HIV field, one of my coworkers, Jenny, she is the first HIV case manager in the state of Connecticut ever, and she's still
doing that work.
Yeah, so we really don't recognize people for the stuff they do until it's late.
So Jay, why don't we try to make a change and change a little bit of that and have her come on the show and talk about that?
Yeah, we could probably do something like that. I got to reach out to her. She's a Meriden.
I mean, she can come in on a personal capacity. She doesn't need to represent an agency or anything, but just talk about why she feels strongly about that.
She's been doing it since day one. She was she is the first in the state to do that type of work.
We have a chair right there.
Yeah.
Or we can move you over.
Your old chair. Do you miss your plastic chair?
Not today, no.
I've been meaning to get another chair for the studio, or at least bring the one that I have upstairs downstairs, and then so that way I can, be consistent. But speaking of why do we do that, right? Why do we, focus on someone after they die on the work that they do? It's again because of the fact that we have blinders on and things happen. And all the noise that's happening around us, right? Further noise, which I want to make a correction. 3 shows ago, I said that we're heading into the midterm elections this upcoming election day, which is actually on November 2nd or November 3rd, which is next week or the week after. Correction. We're not going into the midterms. The midterms is next November, but we are going into a point in time during election time in where you're electing your local governance, people that are governing in your local districts, which is very important because, as you know, sometimes in politics they say things trickle down. No, they actually trickle up. And those that you elect at the small local level impact what happens and what the conversation is at a much bigger scale. And so really understand who you're electing, what it's, what they're supporting,
what their agenda is.
Right. And
do
things
your
like, for
homework,
example,
people.
I would say that Mrs. Lang most likely actually dealt with local politicians that drove that conversation year after year based on who was in office, and who we elect, who we have total and absolute control over, our local governments. So make sure that you are familiarizing yourself with who's on your ticket and what's happening next week, and go out there and do your duty and vote. Do that. That being said, again, that drives who has the power to do what locally, but it also influences the work that people like Mrs. Lang did. And
remember,
keep that in mind.
And again, sometimes you got to realize that it does affect you. It will also affect your children.
Right.
And you're also advocating for the youth in the community,
right,
especially the LGBTQ youth that are still facing a lot of challenges ahead of them because of this anti-LGBTQ stuff that's going on within the government itself. So we have to protect not only ourselves, but our family and friends and children.
Yeah.
Make sure we get out there and we talk and we vote. And, it's not just LGBTQ, it's also the HIV community. It's stuff that impacts us all together.
Yeah.
But it's the work that Shawn did that drives local politicians to allocate the funds needed in these smaller agencies and community programs that actually help people who may be part of the LGBTQ plus community or who may need resources for HIV needs.
Yeah,
from those agencies.
I think it's also really important too, not only because we're, in my brain, I focus on the people in New Haven, the people that I'm going to be voting for, right? But the reality is Connecticut as a whole is my home.
Right.
The United States is my home. Let's be honest, right? So I'm actually trying to be more aware of surrounding counties as well. And I have a really good friend who is running for re-election, who is a part of our community. And I made sure to donate to his campaign because I know he's doing good work. And I know that his Jimmy Tickey.
Guess who's actually running for state senator as well, which I think we should mention because incredible person was also a podcaster, Charnel Bush.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
Yes.
That was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
I saw that the other day. But I think that, yes, we need to pay attention to our local elections because those are the ones that we can impact, especially because I live in New Haven, right? That's where I'm voting. But make sure that you're broadening and taking care of everybody within your entire, vicinity.
Right. See what
the more people we have in government, the more people within our community in government, the more change we will see happen.
Of course. And especially locally, which, again, you have all of these federal grants that happen that are given to a lot of different states, but that money is distributed based on programs and petitions made to the state for the money that's being allocated for that type of work.
For example, good example, we are coming up on the 25th anniversary of the New Haven Pride Center, which we are huge supporters of.
Of course.
And the executive director is killing it. This is the first year in 25 years that they have a line item from the state. And a line item means they're getting money from the state.
Right.
They have never, as a nonprofit, received money from the state. And it took 25 fucking years for the state to fund them.
Right.
And not at a crazy high level, but at a level for that
just
size of an organization.
Yeah, just the recognition alone is a big
It's a
step
huge
up.
deal.
Yeah.
But think about what that did
And
even
how long
during
it took.
COVID.
Yeah.
Right? That was critical. That piece of money was critical in keeping services and people employed and programming happening. If it wasn't in person, it was happening online. And it allowed them to actually provide services to youth that it will allow. It will, but during the 2020, pandemic, the shutdown, the Pride Center provided services to youth that at times were locked up in houses that weren't supportive of who they were.
Yeah.
And that caused stress. It caused a lot of, anxiety for these individuals that were forced, given the circumstances, to be in spaces that weren't supportive, and they needed to find that community somewhere. And the fact that the New Haven Pride Center and Pride Centers all over the U.S. were able to stay afloat and provide those services and be open.
With most of them not receiving state funding.
Right. It was critical. And that's why places like the New Haven Pride Center and all of these other smaller organizations that support communities firsthand, that's why they need this money. And that's why we need people elected in local government that are willing to support the work, the incredible, important work that these organizations are doing.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I don't think, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse. So
yeah, I know. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So on that note, I would like to, to the community in Connecticut and the community in which she served, we would like to wish her family, her friends, her loved ones, and our community a sincere condolence to the loss of Shawn Lang, who was an incredible and indelible spirit in our community. Mm-hmm. So may she rest in peace.
Yeah.
All right. Rest in peace.
So on a lighter note, let's move over to Barack Obama. So as you know, when he was president, Barack Obama wasn't really sure where he fell on marriage equality. And it took Uncle Joe, who's our current president, Joe Biden, to really sort of kind of lead him in that right direction in supporting marriage equality. And it was that support, that talk and that push that really pushed Barack Obama to start advocating publicly for marriage equality. And during his presidency in 2015, marriage equality became the law of the land. And I will never forget Michelle Obama's interview on Ellen when she was like, I have to be honest with you. When I found out about this, Sasha came to my room and she was so thrilled and so happy. She was crying, and we just went out. I guess they have, a door where they can go outside and be not seen by the public.
Right.
And she was like, we just danced in the backyard together, so excited with sparklers, and we were just happy. And, just to hear that from our first lady, and honestly, I'm going to say, since Jackie O, the first lady.
Right.
Like, that is so powerful.
And Joe Biden is fantastic.
Yeah, but he's not a first lady.
Jill.
Oh, Jill. No, she's wonderful.
Jill.
She's a first lady.
I thought you said Joe.
It sounded like Joe for a minute.
Jill.
Yes.
Okay, my apologies, Jill.
Yeah. No, I love Jill, but I'm sorry, Michelle
Obama. It's just Michelle. I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that he wasn't there, but he got there, and we got marriage equality in 2015, and it's been quite a while, but there's no short of Republican opposition at this point, even 6+ years later, that are publicly out there, saying that they publicly oppose marriage equality. And so Obama drew attention to himself by going out there and criticizing these Republican individuals who are assaulting marriage equality, which, by the way, again, let me remind you all, passed during his presidency as a result of what happened at the Supreme Court. And basically what ended up happening was that at an event in Richmond, Virginia on Saturday supporting Terry McAuliffe. Are we going to say that's her name? McAuliffe? Anyway,
yeah.
She's Virginia's Democratic candidate for governor. Former President Barack Obama took aim at McAuliffe's opponent, who recently admitted that he does not support same-sex marriage. In a statement, he said, quote, "Are we still arguing about gay marriage? Really? I thought that ship had sailed." Obama said to the crowd of Virginia Commonwealth University, "I thought that was pretty clearly the right thing to do." And again, we know historically and factually that he wasn't always there, but he got there, and now he's defending it, and it makes me feel good, right? Because for me, Barack Obama was an amazing human being. I am glad that I lived in a time and in a place and in an era in where we watched America elect a black president that happened to do a lot of things right. Wasn't always perfect, but nonetheless, he was an amazing human being, and he continues to do so. And the fact that he supports our community and goes after and attacks some of these Republican individuals that are running for office 6 years later, still opposing marriage equality. It's music to my ears. I love watching him, go out of the norm, because it's not normal for presidents to go and criticize previous presidents, or to go out of their way and get involved in political things once they leave office. And he's got no fucks given.
Yeah,
he's going for it.
I think it's also pretty amazing to see a president. I mean, obviously, we know that there are a lot of issues that surround any election, whether it's fiscal issues, whether it's, economic development issues, or whatever it is. There are a lot of issues that surround any type of election that need to be addressed, right?
Right.
But the fact is, Obama is really starting to stand up and endorse people that are showing that they support human rights. And I think that that is so important, because when you look at a lot of Republican platforms, they talk a lot about, fiscal changes, tax reform, healthcare reform, stuff that we really do need to work on, but you don't ever really hear them talk about positive change when it comes to human rights. And the reality is, this is a free country. This is a country where we want to be because we can be who we are.
But also,
so create a platform that is inclusive of everyone.
Right. But also give us specifics. So while not Dumbledore.
He's gay.
Yes. No, what was the evil guy's name?
Voldemort?
Voldemort, thank you. While thou who shall not be named was president, during the first 2 years of his presidency, he had control of both the House and the Senate. And he had an opportunity to actually repeal Obamacare and replace it with something substantial, which he failed to mention what exactly it was that it was going to be replaced by. They had an opportunity to grab healthcare by the balls and do something substantial about it, but couldn't say what it was going to be. But they never actually ended up repealing it. Thank God, because obviously, you have protections for pre-existing conditions and a lot of other things and benefits that we have as a result of Obamacare, which, by the way, is very popular. But the problem that I'm having is, it's like you're talking all this talk now about healthcare and about all of this and these platforms, and this is what you want to do, but you never really give us specifics. You never really say what it is exactly that you're going to do and how you're going to better all Americans and not just your base.
Unless you're talking as a white man about women's reproductive rights.
Right. And then, of course, you have something to say, because, it's like, God forbid, should a woman be able to control what happens with her own body?
It makes me crazy.
All I say is this, let's get rid of Viagra and we'll see how quickly that conversation changes. And by the way, Viagra is also made by the same company that makes the Pfizer vaccine. So if they can successfully get it up, these vaccines work. Just want to throw that out there.
Anyway.
It's the truth. But yes, so congratulations to Barack Obama for continuously supporting our community and being an amazing advocate, even though we knew that at some point in time, I must reiterate, you weren't there, but you got there. And to our amazing former First Lady, Michelle Obama, and our current First Lady, Jill Biden, who are just amazing individual humans who are making great strides to try to better our lives, all of us, Republicans and Democrats alike. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Horse is dead.
Yeah.
God. Peter's going to come after us.
Yeah, stop killing the horse, man.
I know, I'm telling you, we're going to beat that horse to death. All right, well, that's all we have for you today. It's been an interesting
I'm sure you're thankful.
show. Yes. No, Mama Kim actually enjoyed it, so don't go there. Yeah, so.
True. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to toss it over to my boys. We, of course, going to start wrapping things up. So one of the first things on the roster is Mama Kim's Minute. So I'm going to give Trish some love. You want love? You want love? How hard?
I'm going to press it a few down, so. Thank you. All right, everybody. So here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, I need a man like this. But number 1, man donates kidney to his husband in an epic life-saving love story.
Good luck.
Number 2, how a new generation of AIDS memorials is shedding light on the epidemic. Number 3, Raiders coach steps down after being exposed for homophobia and racism. Fuck you.
Bravo.
That's
All
Mama
right.
Kim's Minute.
All right. And on this day in gay history, Jay, do you want some music? Do you want something?
I don't have anything yet. I don't know. I'm the stepchild. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We'll figure something better out.
Yeah. I'm going to put some salsa up there for him. Yeah, balls. Okay.
Yeah, balls. On this day in gay history, Deborah Sampson discharged from Continental Army. When? October 25th, 1783. Where? New York, New York. After serving under the name Robert Sampson for a year and a half, she is honorably discharged from the Army by General Henry Knox at West Point.
So, okay, I just want to try to understand this. She was a woman who posed as a man and served
in order to serve
in the Continental Army?
Yes.
I'm proud of you, girl.
This is like America's Mulan.
She pulled the Mulan. She pulled the Mulan on them.
Wait, oh my God, I was going to totally sing the wrong song. Let me shut up. I was going to be like, have you ever heard the wolf cry? And I was like, nope, wrong story. Wrong one.
No, that's Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, wrong story.
Yeah.
Be very careful. She's a Disney queen, this one.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, ladies and gents, I want to thank you all for joining us on today's show. If you like the show, make sure that you go subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By doing so, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your web browser or your favorite device as soon as our episodes are published. You can also support us on Patreon, which allows you, our listeners, to support the show with a monetary donation, which we collect monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more. So we're truly, truly, truly appreciative. And thank you. Jay?
Next week, we welcome back Dr. Evan Goldstein, Dr. G, for this month's Tales from the Tail. Tales from the Tail.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the S.
Yeah, well, you had Tales from the Tails.
I do.
So, yeah, well, you did.
Tales from the Tail.
I just fixed it.
Okay.
But anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dr. G.
That's how we're doing this?
We want to talk about you and your amazing
probiotics.
That shit is
These two boys have been shitting their brains out on that thing.
Absolutely.
In a good way.
In a good way. They are regular. I'm going to have to get
my gut health is on point.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good thing that it was on point,
yes,
especially this week.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
I see nervous, like someone's going to like have like nubs by the end of the show. So anyway, is it me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now, ladies and gents, here's Nick's weekly reminder for all of you bottoms out there who want to keep their buttholes on point. Yes, we are talking about Future Method, and I better give that bitch some love, otherwise she'll kill me.
Thank you. I love my fairy music. Get the Future Method today. Each time you clean out with water or enemas, delicate tissues are harmed and cells are damaged, increasing chances of injury and or STDs. The first of its kind doctor-developed formula gently cleanses your bum before you play without hurting your bum. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum cleanser today.
Or your supplements.
Or your butt scrub.
All right, all of that good stuff. Or the butt soothing cream.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and there's more coming.
There's a list, ongoing running list.
All right, sir.
And I guess it's time to put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Cock ring, of course.
Clearly.
Yep, and our show is available on our website, GayTalk2.0 under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Stitcher Radio.
You tried.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0, Twitter at GayTalk20. You can email us at GayTalk2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, give it a try.
Give me a minute. I'm drinking. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website, click on the Contact Us tab located at the top of your web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast, or an individual host. You can also call us and leave us a voice message if you'd like. The phone number is 334-GAY-TALK, or if you need all those numbers, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we do stream live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can access that live stream by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. With that, ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you, and y'all have a good night.
Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.